The roar of the crowd, a tidal wave of sound, crashed against the walls of the Spectrum Center, a stark contrast to the sudden, chilling silence that had gripped the arena just moments before. Duke, the nation's undisputed #1, found themselves teetering on the precipice of disaster, their March Madness dreams hanging by a thread. The culprit? A single, agonizing twist of an ankle, the left ankle of their freshman phenom Cooper Flagg. Flagg, the name whispered in hushed tones by NBA scouts, the player whose every move was dissected and analyzed, had crumpled to the hardwood, his face a mask of pain. The moment, replayed in agonizing slow motion on the Jumbotron, was a cruel twist of fate. He had soared for a defensive rebound, a routine play for a player of his caliber, his 6'9" frame a silhouette against the bright lights. But upon landing, his left ankle buckled, a sickening, unnatural angle that sent a collective gasp through the crowd. The silence that followed was heavy, pregnant with dread. Fans, analysts, and even opposing players held their breath, a collective prayer for a player who had captivated the college basketball world. Cooper Flagg, the projected #1 pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the embodiment of Duke's championship aspirations, was down. The sight of him clutching his ankle, his face contorted in pain, was a stark reminder of the fragility of even the most promising careers. The immediate aftermath was a blur of activity. Teammates rushed to his side, their faces etched with concern. Coaches huddled, their expressions grim. Flagg, helped to his feet, could barely put any weight on his injured ankle. He was escorted to the bench, his arms draped over the shoulders of his teammates, his limp a stark testament to the severity of the injury. Then, the ultimate visual confirmation of a potentially serious trauma, the wheelchair. The image of Cooper Flagg being wheeled away, his face a mixture of pain and disbelief, sent shockwaves through the college basketball landscape. Social media erupted, a flurry of tweets and posts expressing concern, speculation, and a collective sense of unease. The question on everyone's mind: how severe was the injury? The ACC tournament, a stage where Duke was expected to dominate, had suddenly become a battleground of uncertainty. The Blue Devils, facing Georgia Tech, were trailing, their rhythm disrupted by the sudden loss of their star player. The atmosphere in the locker room was tense, the air thick with anxiety. Coach John Shire, normally a picture of composure, paced back and forth, grappling with the implications of Flagg's injury. X-rays were taken, the results anxiously awaited. The initial news, a collective sigh of relief, was that there was no structural damage. But the relief was tempered by the lingering uncertainty. A sprained ankle, even a severe one, was far better than a fracture, but the recovery time remained a mystery. Would Flagg be able to return for the remainder of the ACC tournament? More importantly, would he be ready for the NCAA tournament, the pinnacle of college basketball? The stakes were immense. Duke, the #1 seed, had their sights set on a national championship. Flagg, their centerpiece, was the key to their success. His ability to dominate on both ends of the floor, his versatility, his sheer talent, had made him the most talked-about player in college basketball. His absence would be a devastating blow, a seismic shift in the balance of power. The Blue Devils, visibly shaken, had to regroup, to find a way to win without their leader. Veteran players, stepping up in Flagg's absence, rallied the team, their determination fueled by a desire to prove that they were more than just a one-man show. They clawed their way back into the game, their defense tightening, their offense finding its rhythm. But the specter of Flagg's injury loomed large, a constant reminder of the fragility of their championship aspirations. Flagg, emerging from the locker room early in the second half, was a welcome sight, a beacon of hope. He sat on the bench, his injured ankle propped up, his voice hoarse from shouting encouragement. His presence alone seemed to lift the team's spirits, a testament to his leadership and influence. He was still a part of the team, even if he couldn't be on the court. The Blue Devils, fueled by Flagg's presence and their own resilience, managed to secure the victory, advancing to the next round of the ACC tournament. But the victory was bittersweet, overshadowed by the uncertainty surrounding Flagg's injury. The questions remained: how long would he be out? Would he be able to return in time for the NCAA tournament? The injury also brought to light the vulnerability of even the most dominant teams. Duke, for all their talent and depth, were suddenly facing the prospect of competing without their star player. The NCAA tournament, a crucible of pressure and intensity, would be a daunting challenge without Flagg's presence. The implications of Flagg's injury extended beyond Duke's championship hopes. NBA scouts, their eyes glued to the Spectrum Center, were left to ponder the impact on Flagg's draft stock. A serious injury could raise concerns about his durability, potentially affecting his position in the draft. The stakes were high not just for Duke but for Flagg's future. College basketball world held its breath, waiting for updates on Flagg's condition. Every tweet, every news report was scrutinized, analyzed, dissected. The uncertainty was agonizing, the tension palpable. The NCAA tournament, the most anticipated event in college basketball, was just around the corner, and the fate of one of its brightest stars hung in the balance. The narrative shifted, the focus now on Flagg's recovery. Medical experts weighed in, offering their opinions on the severity of the injury and the potential recovery time. Ankle sprains, they explained, could be tricky. Some healed quickly, while others lingered, causing ongoing problems. Key was rest, rehabilitation, and careful monitoring. Duke's coaching staff, faced with the prospect of playing without Flagg, began to strategize, to explore different lineups and game plans. They had to prepare for the possibility of a prolonged absence, while still holding on to the hope of a miraculous recovery. Teams' depth would be tested, their resilience challenged. The ACC tournament continued, the games played under the shadow of Flagg's injury. Every Duke game was watched with bated breath, every update on Flagg's condition eagerly awaited. Team, playing for their injured teammate, fought with a renewed sense of purpose, their determination fueled by a desire to prove that they could overcome adversity. The NCAA tournament selection show loomed, the anticipation building. Duke, despite the uncertainty, was still expected to receive a high seed, their regular season performance too impressive to ignore. But the seeding would be just the beginning. The real challenge would be navigating the tournament without their star player, if necessary. The days leading up to the tournament were a whirlwind of speculation and anticipation. Flagg's recovery became a national obsession, his every move tracked and reported. The basketball world held its breath, waiting to see if the freshman phenom would make a miraculous comeback. Tournament began, the games unfolding with the usual drama and excitement. But the focus remained on Duke, on their performance without Flagg, on the lingering question of his return. The Blue Devils, playing with a chip on their shoulder, battled their way through the early rounds, their determination fueled by a desire to prove that they were more than just a one-man team. The narrative of the tournament became intertwined with Flagg's recovery, his story adding an extra layer of drama to the already intense competition. Every game, every moment was viewed through the lens of his injury, his potential return. College basketball world was captivated, drawn into the drama of Duke's quest for a championship, with or without their star player. Tournament progressed, the field narrowing, the stakes rising. Duke, defying expectations, continued to win, their resilience and determination on full display. Team's depth, their coaching, their sheer grit were proving to be formidable weapons. But the question remained, could they go all the way without Cooper Flagg?